Aloha, my name is Matt DiGeronimo. I'm the Senior Managing Director at Floyd Mergers and Acquisitions here in Honolulu, Hawaii. And today this video will be addressing the business owners who may not be ready to sell their business yet, but are smart enough to be thinking about that eventuality. Quick fun fact for you. In recorded history, there have been 200 deaths on Mount Everest. 170 of them have been on the way down, and only 30 of them on the way up. In our goal-driven society, we can imagine many people scribbling down on their bucket lists, climb Mount Everest. But clearly they, at least 170 of them, forgot to write climb and then descend Mount Everest. Oftentimes, when what we think is the goal, what we think is the pinnacle, is not actually the finish line. And nothing could be more true than running a small business. Oftentimes we think the goal is to grow a successful small business. And that is a very noble endeavor and certainly a challenging one. But that's not the finish line. When you're creating a business, you're creating value. That's value that you've earned and you have a right to. If you don't consider how you're going to descend the mountain or how you're going to exit, you're very likely leaving a lot of money on the table and potentially jeopardizing both you and your family's financial security. I'd like to hit what I would consider the three most important things that every business owner can be doing in preparation for their inevitable descent down Mount Everest or the sale of their business. The first thing I'd like you to consider is, does your business have an organization? Many people think that they have an organization simply because they are not alone, meaning they have independent contractors, they have staff, they have employees. But consider the difference between geese flying in formation and bees swarming around their hive. So ask yourself, when you look behind you, do you see a formation of geese? Or are you really just one of several bees swarming around a hive? And geese seem to know what the hell they're doing without being told, but people don't. If you've made no effort to create an organization with specific duties and responsibilities and a chain of command, I can guarantee you that you're not a goose at the head of its formation, and instead you're a bee in the swarm. So take some time to create an organizational chart that may not represent your business as it is now, but as your business as you want it to be. Number two is to evaluate whether or not you have given the people in your organization the tools needed to perform their job to your standards in a repeatable way without your presence. So again, have you given the people in your organization the tools they need to do their jobs to your standard in a repeatable way and without your presence? The only way that I know to accomplish this is to work on creating policies and procedures for your organization. You may have staff that are well trained because they've been with you forever. You may have staff that are well trained because you're just that good of a trainer. But the golden ring and what will make your business most desirable to a prospective buyer somewhere down the line is not how well your staff is trained, but how easily could your company recover should you lose any one member of your staff. In a business acquisition, you wouldn't be there to retrain the next person. And the person who left isn't going to be there to retrain the next person because they left. So what are you leaving behind? If it's an empty void, that significantly reduces the value of your business. So if you're currently a business owner that, like many, have no policies and procedures, but yet you're working around the clock just to get the company run, the bills paid, and to fight the dragons that pop up each day in the life of a small business owner, how do you find the time to write policies and procedures? It's not an easy answer, and nobody likes to do it. And if you're like me and every other small business owner out there, you will think of 1,000,001 reasons why today is not the day to start. But today is all we have. Tomorrow never comes. You certainly can't write all the policies and procedures that your company needs today or any day, but you can do something. You can write the procedure for something simple in your company. I encourage you to try a little experiment. Take a very, very small and basic fundamental task that occurs in your company and then observe if there's any variation that occurs in the accomplishment of that task from person A to person B to person C. I guarantee you that there is. I further guarantee that if policies, procedures, and instructions are not part of your company culture, if you write that down and tell person A, B, and C to follow it, you'll be in for a surprise because they will not. I don't know why. I wish I knew why. If I knew why, I'd have a better business. But they won't. And it takes persistent pressure and persistent application of the standard of following that procedure. It can't be done overnight, and you certainly can't tackle the whole company today. But if you're looking at a sale that's 3, 5, or 20 years down the road, I can assure you that small progress on a daily basis will go a long way as the days turn into months, turn into years. The third and final tip I'd like to leave you with is take a look at how your revenue is coming in. We like to use a term called multiple revenue streams. And what that really means is that your business will be most valuable if it is not particularly vulnerable to any one event. So if, for example, you sell only sunglasses, you become particularly vulnerable to bad weather. Should we have 2 months of rain, your business will likely be affected, and you have nothing to counteract that. Alternatively, you may have one client whose revenue comprises a significant percentage of your total revenue. For example, should you have 80% of your revenue all because of one client, that makes your business almost unsellable. Because to a prospective buyer, your business is very vulnerable to anything that would occur to that one buyer. Whether that would be bankruptcy, or perhaps they just change their minds and go with someone else. So we want you to take a look at your product mix or your services that you offer and ask yourself, if one goes up, does the other naturally go up as well? To use my sunglass example, if I was giving this advice to someone who sold sunglasses, I would encourage them to look into also carrying a line of umbrellas. It's a simple analogy, but hopefully you get the point. And then the second thing is to take a look at where is your revenue coming from. And you want to spread that out amongst as many sources as possible to what we call flatten your revenue and protect yourself from any singular event. My name is Matt DiGeronimo. Thanks for listening.